After consulting with over 2,500 life insurance agents and analyzing all of their marketing strategies on how they get leads, I found that almost every agent is somewhere between 1 through 7 in their insurance agent marketing journey. And in this video, I'm going to share with you where you may fit in this marketing journey. And the goal is to get you from number 1 all the way to number 7. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down every number, every stage, how to get to that next level. And from that point, when you get to stage 7, what do you do next? Let's hop right into it. My name is Don. I am an insurance agent turned marketer. And as of today, I help insurance agents build life insurance lead gen engines into their agency so that they can generate their own leads using Facebook ads without having to buy leads from third-party companies. I get them to be able to set up Facebook ads to do it themselves. With that said, let's jump into the life insurance agent marketing journey. So this could be you right here as a new recruit, and you just got recruited by another agent that brought you on board and said, hey, you can make a whole lot of money here in this life insurance industry. Like, this is crazy. You could build a business. You could sell insurance. Everybody needs insurance. It's a need-based business. And by the way, whoever recruited you, call them and thank them because they're right. I've been a licensed life insurance agent since I was 18 years old, and I started working at TD Bank. And then from TD Bank, I moved to Wells Fargo, and I ultimately started my own life insurance agency once I left the banking world. And I've been a full-time agency owner over the last, 8 years. So I love the insurance space. I love financial services. As a new recruit, you normally move to phase 1, which is warm market, and this is the start of your insurance agent marketing journey. Now, warm market, as you probably know, is contacting your friends, family, or anybody that you know who's inside of your network. And by the way, I think warm market is a great strategy to start with. It takes $0, and you can earn a lot of money without having to invest anything. That's great. So you go into your contact list. You write down everybody that's inside of your list. By the way, every single one of those people in your list need life insurance, so I think that this is a great strategy to start with, and you start sending out text messages to connect with those people, build rapport, and then talk about if they need insurance coverage. Now, when it comes to warm market, the thing that you should know is that although warm market is amazing and it's a great start to your insurance agent marketing career, the reason why many times it's not as sustainable is because one of two things happen. The first one is you are putting in a lot in order to get out the same result as somebody else who's further in the marketing journey that we talk about. When I say put in a lot, that means you're putting in a lot of effort to get out a result. So as an example, in order for me to be able to get a sale on my warm market, or at least in my case and many other agents that I've spoken to, you may need to reach out to 20, 30, 40, 50, sometimes even 100 contacts in order to get one life insurance sale. So when you think of it like that, if I have to make 30, 40, 50 outreaches for one sale, that's a lot of outreaches, and I'm one person. And as an agent, I'm only paid off of my labor. So those outreaches, that's a lot of effort for one sale. So that's the first problem, is that the amount of effort per sale is really high. And the goal is, how do we lower our effort in order to get more sales, right? So the effort of warm market is really high. That's number one, and that's the first problem of it in time, is the effort. And then number two, you ultimately end up running out of your warm market. I know some people say, no, that's not possible, but the reality of it is there's not a single business on planet Earth that you can show me right now that does not have some sort of advertisement in place in order to get new customers, right? Because warm market just simply runs out. There's only but so many friends and family that you can have, and then referrals. And ultimately, if you're waiting for referrals, that means you're waiting for business. In order for you to have a successful business, or at least in my case and how I grew my agency, I did not wait for referrals to come in because I can't wait for bills to get paid. I have to pay bills, so I have to go find business. And that's the issue with warm market. The amount of effort that I found that I have to put in to be able to get sales is high. And number two, I ultimately run out of my warm market, or it slows down significantly, and I'm trying to figure out where I get my next sale from. So normally at that part, when you're in your warm market, you capture a certain amount of sales, you generate your first amount of money, which is excellent because you need it, and then you move to phase 2 of your insurance agent marketing journey, which is buying leads from your IMO or upline. Because this is the place where naturally you get to that place where you're like, hey, my warm market burned out. It's getting very slow. I'm trying to figure out how to get more sales. I know how to sell. I just need more people to talk to. So you find out that your IMO or your upline has their own lead vending business, or the IMO can sell leads as well. Most likely mortgage protection or final expense. That's normally the case, right? So you ultimately end up either buying leads or going on a subscription from your IMO or your upline, and you start buying leads from them, okay? And again, that's when it comes to buying leads, you, depending on where you are, your marketing journey and your sales journey, and depending upon the quality of the leads from your upline or IMO, it's a hit or miss, right? Based on my experience, it's a hit or miss when it comes to buying leads from IMO or upline for a couple of different reasons that you probably may have found. The first one is, well, sometimes those leads could, number one, when buying leads from IMO or upline, could be too expensive, right? You might be paying $40, $50, $60, $70 per lead, and you're like, man, I can't really afford to get a lot of opportunities. And one of the things that I've learned from my experience of scaling an insurance agency and many others is that it takes a lot of volume to grow. A lot of volume. I'm a volume guy. Some people are more like, I'll only do 4 sales a month. I've never been a 4 sales per month guy. I've always been a 100 sales per month guy, 200 sales per month, 300 sales per month. Like, that's just who I am. The average agent that was in my agency, the requirement is them doing 30, 40, 50,000 per month in annualized premium issued, right? So like, I'm a volume guy. So buying leads from your IMO or upline, you may run into a volume issue where you might not be able to buy enough leads because the cost is just extremely high. So for example, if it's $40 or $50 per lead and you don't have a lot of capital, every 10 leads is $400 to $500, and you're like, man, I'm paying $2,000 and I'm only getting like 40 leads. So that's where the problem kind of comes into play, and you start to see, a volume issue. Or number two, you may run into an issue where what you may have found is that the leads may be getting resold to other agents, right? Because your IMO or upline is trying to maximize off of profitability. So just selling the lead one-to-one to you, even though it may even have been advertised that they're giving it to you exclusive, keep in mind that the IMO or the upline, they earn more money by selling the same lead to 5 people. So if they sell it to you for 40 and they can sell it to 4 other agents and they get that same lead to 5 agents, they make $200 off the same lead. So they're earning much more profit off of selling you the leads and then selling it to 5 other agents. And you run into that issue where you're like, man, I feel like every time I'm calling the leads, they feel like they've already been contacted by somebody. And like, that sucks. I've already spent the money, right? Your IMO or upline is profiting off of selling it multiple times, multiple ways. Or the third thing that you probably ran into was that the leads, it's kind of more of a bait and switch type of tactic where like the lead filled out their information because they thought that they were getting a free trip to Puerto Rico or Cancun, or they filled out their information for some type of emergency kit for their children or for their grandma, and then you get on the line and now you got to bait and switch them into buying life insurance. And I'll be honest with you, I've never agreed with that kind of experience because you don't sell to people who don't want what you have, right? That's the hardest sell that you can give in the world. And that leads me back to number one, which is you're putting in a lot of effort for the amount of money. And if that's the case where you're going to put in the same amount of effort for the money, then you may as well just go back to warm market as opposed to paying if you're going to try to sell to people who don't want what you have because it was a bait and switch tactic on the phone. So that's the issue that you're going to run into when you're buying leads from your IMO or upline, and you probably realize that in stage 2, and that's when you said to yourself, you know what, let me move to stage 3. Now, stage 3 is you buying leads from some outside lead vendor because you're saying to yourself, you know what, all right, I bought leads from my IMO or upline. I didn't like it. I have no problems with them. I'm going to stay with my IMO or upline. It just didn't work out. So I'm going to start testing other lead vendors now, right? And you may have been on Facebook and you're scrolling. And by the way, there's a lead vendor every other time that you scroll on Facebook or Instagram. Everybody's selling leads in the insurance space. There's a reason for that because people profit off of selling the leads, and they've never actually ran their own insurance agencies. But that's another topic for another day. So you're buying leads from some other lead vendor that's out there, and they're promising you the guarantees and results and everything of that nature. And you're like, you know what? I just got to find me a really good vendor because I know that I can sell, and that's very true. You most likely can. So you buy from another lead vendor, and the same cycle continues again, where you're like, man, it's the same exact thing that I'm getting from my IMO, my upline. What's going wrong? Like, what's the secret that I'm missing right now? Because it's like, how is everybody else crushing on the leads, but then I'm not crushing on the leads? Before I move to step forward, just to give you a little bit of a little advice from what I've learned, is that there's two problems that comes when it comes to working leads in the insurance space. It's either a lead problem or a sales problem or both. You got to figure out which one it is. That's the reason why I advise all of my agents to have trackers in place, which is a sales tracker, which I'll do another video training on this around like why you should be tracking all of your business per lead vendor, lead source, so you could track the metrics on answer rates, how many sales pitches did you do with your script, how many applications did you run, and how many did you close, so you can analyze your results. The reality is if you're not tracking your results, then you don't know what's right or wrong. So you don't know if it's the actual lead source, or you don't know if you have a sales problem. And a lot of agents have sales problems, although they will not admit it. And they don't know how to sell the right way. I mean, because think about it. You just became a new recruit, and you went through stages 1 to 2 to 3. You may not even have been in this business long enough, and no one's trained you on how to sell. So if you've never been trained on how to sell, naturally, you don't know how to sell, right? So you need to have the proper skill sets in place when it comes to tackling leads, or again, the leads could really be bad and they're being resold and you didn't have an opportunity to begin with. I'll probably say that it's 50-50, where most likely 50% of it is the fact that the leads are being resold or they weren't being marketed in the right way, and the other 50% is you may not be experienced enough in order to sell leads, but you're just not there yet, and that's okay. That's the reason why it takes time for you to be able to get there. So that's number 3 where you are in your journey, where you, number 1 is that you did warm market, friends and family, you realized you wanted to buy leads, so you went to your IMO upline, and then number 3, you bought leads from some other lead vendor that you found on Facebook, or they were referred by somebody in your agency that's like, hey, I work with this lead vendor, you're like, let's do it, and then you kept continuing the same cycle where you're like, man, buying leads sucks, I don't know what's going on, I made a couple dollars, but like, I'm also breaking even or I'm losing money, like, what do I do next? So then normally what happens next is that you enter phase 4 in your insurance agent marketing journey of recruitment. Now, the reason why recruitment becomes next in number 4 is because you begin to realize very early on that, man, I'm writing business. I'm investing into buying the leads. I'm learning how to grow my insurance business, but like my upline is earning all of the overrides, but they're not providing me with any support. That's the next question that normally comes about, is that I'm making all of the investment, but my upline is earning overrides without support. Like, how do I just do the same thing then? Like, how do I recruit a bunch of agents, and how do I earn an override from them so that they can go out there and invest in their businesses and I earn a percentage from me recruiting them? And you're like, that has to be much easier, because you may have gone to a conference and you've seen those guys that were on stage that are doing like, 300, 400, $500,000 a year, and they have these big downlines, and you're like, man, life must be great. They're making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. They're earning awards because they're recruiting a whole bunch of people. And you're like, I've never seen them write any business, because they don't write any business. They have a big downline of agents. They're builders, right? They're builders. So you're like, I want to become a builder. And that's the stage 4 of your insurance agent marketing journey, where you want to start building other agents. And then you go into the recruitment side. And then that becomes a whole nother world, right? Of politics, company culture, going to these conferences, having to be the guy or the girl in the suit that has to go around in the suit, doing a bunch of presentations, talking to agents who aren't even interested. You're recruiting agents, and then after recruiting them, you recruit 10 agents, and then 9 out of 10 of them don't work out because they're not serious about growing their insurance agency. They just wanted to be a part of the fan club, but they're not actually trying to write business. So your overrides aren't going up, because every time you recruit 10 agents, 9 of them drop off, and you're only getting 1 agent each time. So every time 100 agents come on board, you might only got 10 of them writing. And even if that, maybe 5 writing, and then they're only writing part-time. So then you begin to realize, man, recruiting is bad too, right? So like, my overrides aren't going up. So like, I've tried the warm market. I made a couple dollars there. I went to buying leads from my I Am More upline. I made a couple dollars there, but like, that wasn't working out because of the quality of the leads. And then I started buying from some other lead vendor. I made a couple dollars there. And then I thought I hit a home run with number 4 with recruitment because I saw all the guys on stage. But like, my agents don't want to work. They don't want to write any business. So that's where number 4 comes into place. And you're like, what do I do now? The odds are you may even be a year or 2 years into the business at this point. And now you're like, I got to find a way to be able to run my life insurance business on my own terms, my way. Which, by the way, to give you guys give you a perspective, I've always ran my insurance agency on my terms. Okay, I'm a big believer of that. Yes, I have insurance contracts in place, but I was never invested into any IMO. Like, although I may have had a contract with them, I've always gotten the contract, but I've always ran the business on my own terms. I didn't go to any conferences. I wasn't invested in the politics. I did not care about any uplines or anything that was going on. I wanted to run the business on my own terms. And I've always been that way. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm not saying that being a part of the culture is wrong, because I think that there's a lot of agents who win big from being a part of the culture, and you may need it. I'm just a self-sufficient guy that is like very entrepreneurial based. And I said to myself, just give me the contract and I'll figure out the rest. And that's always who I've been. So then you ultimately are probably going to get to the stage that I started with, and you're like, okay, now I'm at number 5. Here's what I want to do. Here at number 5, this is where you're like, I want to find someone who can basically show me how to generate my own leads, right? Like, I don't want to buy from lead vendors. I don't want to be associated to the company culture. I don't want to buy from my upline or my IMO. I don't want to do any of that. Show me how to like do it. I want to know how they're doing it. So you find someone to run your Facebook ads, right? You probably find somebody like me who shows agents how to actually set up, Facebook ads. Now, I don't just set up clients' Facebook ad accounts. So my word of advice for you is that if somebody's going to charge you to set up a Facebook ad account, please keep in mind that paying someone $2 to $3 grand to set up a Facebook ad account for you is not valuable, because money is not earned through setting up a Facebook ad account. If it were that easy, everybody be rich, because there are millions of people that are running Facebook ads right now. And I can tell you a high percentage of people do not make money from Facebook ads. They don't make any money from it. So what that tells you is, you pay somebody $2 grand to set up a Facebook ad account for you, you probably going to be on the losing side, because it's not the Facebook ad account that generates the money. I did an entire breakdown training on this, by the way, on my YouTube page, so check it out. So you end up finding somebody to run your Facebook ads for you, and you're like, let me set this thing up, and boom, you realize that your cost per lead is a lot lower. You're getting a lot more leads for the amount of money that you were spending. You can control your budget. You can control how much you spend. Your ads are running 7 days a week, and you're like, wow, this is beautiful. And I don't got to deal with anyone, because I have my own in-house system that I'm running for myself. And even if you did not want to recruit agents and you wanted to run your own insurance agency without having to worry about anyone else, just you running an independent business from your living room with your spouse or your family, you could just by having your own Facebook ad account set up, ads being ran, you could run your own business, generating probably $250,000 a year if you're a decent salesperson running decent, having a decent budget on Facebook ads. You could most likely earn $250,000 a year without bothering anyone, and you're good, right? And for most people, I truly believe that for most agents, that this is ultimately the route to be able to take. I truly believe it. You mind your business, you grow your business, you're earning much more money than 99% of agents who are in this industry, and boom, you're great, right? You're running quality business there, right? So you find somebody, you run your Facebook ads, and boom. Now, here's where you end up harming yourself. And by the way, I learned, from experience, and I've learned from other agents and agency owners in experience. Where you end up harming yourself is that you may have hired somebody to run your Facebook ads for you or something of that nature. They're doing a decent job. You're earning much more money than what you were earning before. But naturally, you're an entrepreneur. So the first thought that comes to your mind is, man, I'm paying a high cost in order to be able to get somebody to be able to do all of this stuff for me. How do I learn how to do it myself? Because you're an entrepreneur. You're trying to learn how to decrease your costs. So what comes with that is number 6, you try to do it yourself. So you say to yourself, man, if that person can set up my Facebook ad account and do all of this stuff for me, then I know that I can figure out how to do it myself, right? So you go down this journey, you start buying Facebook ad courses, you try to learn how to do it yourself, and then that's where the pain begins. The pain begins in that because of the fact that, number 1, your attention gets diverted. You're in sales, you're in insurance sales. And what happens is now, because you're moving your attention away from the insurance sales and you're now learning how to become a marketer, then what happens is your revenue, your sales that you would normally be generating decreases. Because think about it. If you're investing, and again, just to be decent at this, just to put something in perspective, I've been doing this for 10 years as an agent. And then I moved over and I've been also doing marketing for like 10 years as well. Luckily, I had an agency where my agent were doing a lot of the sales. I focused in on that marketing element of things, but I've been doing this for a while. And you know that it took over like literally 10,000 hours of time in order to build this. So think about the amount of hours you're about to subtract from you doing insurance sales to scale your agency, because there's a lot to do to scale your agency, to now focusing on the marketing side and trying to do it yourself. You're naturally going to see your sales decrease. And then you're going to learn what I just told you in step number 5, which is it's not a Facebook ad account that generates the sales. It's not the ad account. Again, I did an entire training on this. It's not the ads, it's the content. It's the content and it's the branding. It's the personal brand that you have to build, and it's the content that you have to build inside of your ad account in order to get it to work. It's not the ad account itself, or everybody would be rich. And because you do that and you're not good at content and you don't have a personal brand, it starts to work against you, and then you begin to lose money. So that's where you try to do it yourself. And hopefully if you make it here to step 6, that I may save you from the heartache that's going to come in step 6 of entrepreneurship, where it's basically the woman in the red dress. The woman in the red dress goes basically, the way it goes is that if you saw the Matrix, Neo was there, and basically he's inside of the simulation. And when Neo's in the simulation, he's walking down the street. There's a bunch of people in the city that have doll clothes on. And essentially he sees a woman in a red dress. He moves his attention, and then it goes, hey, are you paying attention, or are you looking at the woman in the red dress? Neo turns back around, and then Agent Smith is there and blows his brains out, right? Because Neo got distracted by the woman in the red dress. That woman in the red dress is you trying to do it yourself. And that's the part that you got to be careful of as an entrepreneur. I've done many things in life where I started to get distracted in my business from doing other activities that I didn't need to be doing, that cost me sales and revenue. That's where I moved to stage 7, and I pray you make it to stage 7 in your insurance agent marketing journey, where you focus on what you do best and you delegate the rest. This is where I hope you make it in your insurance journey. This is where I hope you learn that you get to this place where you're like, you know what? I'm really good at selling insurance, and I'm really good at recruiting agents. I'm not good at marketing. I'm not good at personal branding. I'm not good at content. So you know what? Let me delegate my marketing to somebody that truly specializes in content, truly specializes in branding and all that Facebook stuff. And let me focus on building my business when it comes to sales, building, and then training all of my agents on how to properly sell the right way. And let me focus all of my attention there, and let me partner and make sure I have a marketing engine in place by somebody who knows what they're doing, because I want to focus on what I do best and duplicate the rest. I promise that if you get to this place in stage number 7 where you focus on what you do best and duplicate the rest, you're going to constantly be making more money than every agent in this industry who tries to do everything and think that they have to be Superman in order to win. Here, I will tell you out of full transparency with my testimony that I am not Superman. I cannot do everything, nor do I try to do everything. I don't try to be the best salesperson in the world. I had a team of agents that were the best salespeople in the world. But you know what? One thing that I do know is that I'm really good at making content. I'm really good at making content. I've been doing it for 10 years. I'm really good at personal branding. I've been building a personal brand for 10 years, and I'm really good at training, as you can see here in this YouTube video. When I did all three of those things compounded together, personal branding, content, and training, I was able to train my agents to be very, very successful by them selling. And by the way, I had agents that are in the agency that sell better than me, much, much better than I ever could, and I'm okay with that. I have agents that could get on the phone and close down much better than me, and I'm okay with that. But one of the things that I specialize in is content, branding, and training. And you have to understand what that is, and you have to lock in on that and focus on that for the next 20 years. I didn't say a year. I didn't say two years. Focus on this on the next 20 years. And if you do that, you're going to build an extremely valuable agency, one that ultimately I hope that you have the ability to sell in the future, because it has a lot of agents. You got a lot of clients, a lot of referrals, a lot of residuals built up, and it becomes valuable to somebody who's looking to buy. And you get to that place, your goal is to get to stage 7 in your marketing journey. Now, if you're somebody that's like, hey, you know what, Don, how do I find somebody to run Facebook ads? Click the link below. You can join our Telegram chat. We have a bunch of free training, free resources, a bunch of stuff on Facebook ads, sales scripts, how to sell, everything that you need for you to be able to grow your life insurance business. With that said, I pray that this was valuable. And if it was, share this with a friend, share this with another agent that you know, and let's continue to grow. See you next video. Peace.